Episode 3 of The Last of Us was simply beautiful human storytelling set in a very haunting and bleak world. I'm Dan, aka Wolf, and we will be discussing complete spoilers for Episode 3 of the show, as well as its counterpart in the video game. But once again, let's keep the comment section free of any major spoilers that happen beyond these events in both narratives, so that we can be more welcoming to the television members of our ever-expanding The Last of Us family. I think what surprised me the most was how much I appreciated that this was a great departure from Bill's arc in the game, while still being anchored in something in his original essence. Bill is still this very practical loner who is distrusting of the world and everyone in it. He's not very expressive or emotional, and it paints the portrait of a very sad and lonely man. Instead of his partner Frank being already dead and someone who secretly despised Bill, as revealed in a note that you can find in the game, the show deviates in wonderful fashion. Instead, Frank is fleshed out as this very warm and social person who literally brings color and light and purpose to a very sad man's life. This allows Bill to be vulnerable and to let his guard down in a way that is not violated or broken by Frank, which sets up the catalyst for change and ultimately a very fulfilling life. I think it's easy to imagine this being the first time that Bill has opened himself up to someone, and what plays out before our eyes is something powerful, meaningful, and deeply human. For me, this was so much better than trying to recreate what happened in the game, or even trying to tell most of that version of Bill's story. As a fan, I found the show's departure to be way more satisfying than having all of those lines that I love, or all of those scenes that I love, and I love all of those lines of dialogue from the game. The Joel needs a car, and the let's get on with it, and the video game Bill and Ellie's chemistry that just works on every level and cracks me up every time. Nothing changes the fact that I love that stuff, and I love that version of Bill. Now I have two similar but different narratives, a tale of two Bills, if you will, that I will equally cherish each time that I experience them. But the key change, the most important aspect of Bill to examine, is this.
Look, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, I had somebody that I cared about. A partner. Somebody I had to look after. And in this world, that sort of shit's good for one thing: getting you killed. So you know what I did? I wisened the fuck up. And I realized it's gotta be just me.
While I love this about video game Bill, it worked so well in the show to explore a version of Bill who made a choice to let his guard down with someone and to see him rewarded with a relationship that finally made him feel whole. Ironically, in a time where there is a lot of wisdom in being paranoid and distrusting, as that will likely make you live longer. But I think that's the beautiful place where we're at when a show is being told with such love and care and master craftsmanship, is that they can explore this new kind of story that is still true, that still feels authentic to the spirit of Bill, but it's not the same. And that to me is way better than just maybe regurgitating the game on a 1-to-1 ratio. And I feel very strongly that it's so important for the show to be allowed to make its own statements, like that closing scene with the window, that closing shot, and what it represents in the theme of love as contextualized with the events of this episode, and literally nothing from that part of the game. The fact that the show can make these poignant, powerful statements that are completely its own is so important and so special. And I think the magic of all of this is that fans, no matter which The Last of Us that they're coming to first, whether it's the television show or the video game, they're going to be able to experience both of these stories and feel a certain sense of connection and ownership to what's playing out before them, while being completely wowed by experiences on one side or the other of the narrative that they never saw coming. There's going to be some overlap and some echoing, but at the end of the day, it's apparent that both versions of The Last of Us will equally share each other's DNA in ways that penetrate the human heart and stay with us for some time to come. Almost in symbolism of that, the fact that Joel and Ellie cleanse themselves by showering at Frank and Bill's and gear up with Bill and Frank's clothing and property is symbolic of them and us keeping part of Bill and Frank's story with us as the protagonists and the audience prepare to embark on the rest of a dangerous and heart-wrenching journey after this brief moment of being cleansed. And the final note of symbolism I found, whether intentional by the creators or not, was that Frank's first scene in the episode is him literally climbing out of a hole in the ground, as if emerging from a grave, which struck me as a metaphor written by Craig and Neil about them resurrecting Frank for the show, which, if intentional on their part, was absolutely brilliant. In moments just before watching this episode, a friend texted me that Annie Wersching, the actress who played Tess in the video games, had passed away. And while we do mourn her passing and continue to cherish her work in our hearts, I found the coincidence of Joel stacking a cairn in honor of Tess's passing at the very beginning of this episode to be like the universe's way to pay respect to this actress and what she gave this beloved franchise, since there was literally no way for that to have been planned, and it's not in the game either. And the fact that this episode gave us a flashback of Tess meeting Frank and Bill seemed like a similar symbol of this essence of those we love always staying with us. So, with all of that said, what were your favorite parts of this episode? Be sure to let me know that in the comments below. Well, that's all I have to say for now, friends. Until next time, I will catch you in the wilderness of the mental.
Best stay right on my ass.
Can't miss it.
Knock it off.